Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of affairs, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place at the. Oh, fuck, I don't know the name of the sept. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It is the Sept of Forgotten Stories.
There you go. It takes place there. Ha ha! The hour will have just struck. The hour will have just struck 8. As a matter of fact, from a far distant church in a small town on the periphery of Dublin, you can actually barely hear the tolling of the church bell. Before Leon, how's it going? You're building your wall. How's that going for you? I mean, it's heavy work.
Splendidly.
You kind of hear a very, very conjunctory knock on your wall, like.
Look towards the knocking.
Standing down at the foot of your wall, you will see this individual, along with, one moment please, while I get a picture. I also, for the record, Lindsay, I also need to buy many cams so I can have more images.
I know, right? It's a problem.
Fuck, I know that feeling.
You will see this individual along with this individual.
Oh,
who are both
out of character.
Who are both standing at the foot of your fence. This individual looks up and he says, "Hello, I'd like to understand we were expected."
And in typical diplomatic fashion, Leon will reply with, "Yeah? Who the fuck are you?"
Oh.
This one kind of says, oh, it's going to be like that, is it?
Yeah, who's at the wall? Pass me the hammer.
I do beg your pardon. Siren is my name. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Right.
Leah knows that is the name of the honored guest that they are expecting today.
So
yeah, well,
Pounce
Evan
was
picked the
helping
person
as
with
well.
the third merit.
I know, right?
I mean, Pounce is helping as well. And she's standing next to Leon, and she cocks her head, looks up at Leon, and says, "Is that an alpha? He doesn't look like an alpha."
No, I don't know what that is, but it's an honored guest. So go get the alpha and everyone else.
Pounce will just do a quick sniff of Siren and then of Denofre, and will then, run off. And from the distance, you'll hear a howl because,
Denofre smells like ozone. Siren kind of smells like fruit pastilles.
Good to know. I will track them at some point, maybe, if needed be.
Do you mind if we come in? Siren's just looking up. Leon.
Yeah, go ahead.
You see a door form in your wall, and he just kind of opens the door and walks through. He then closes the door. There is then no longer a door.
What the fuck?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Nice wall you have.
How did you do that?
I willed it to be so it was. My apologies. Siren extends his hand to the newcomer. Master Siren, it's very nice to meet you.
There's a firm step backward. Nice to meet you too.
I'll just stand over here. There's that moment of the both just kind of looking at each other like, but we're being nice.
Leon looks at the two of them. Do you know each other?
Yes. Rather so. Hang on. She looks at Leon up and down. She says, "Have I seen you before?"
How the fuck would I know?
Oh, There aren't any ways that one can actually feasibly answer that, are there, without looking like a complete ass?
That's just how he is.
All right. Whilst we wait for your higher-ups, we shall limit ourselves to discussing only the weather. Nice weather we've been having.
Do you like metal music? Sorry.
For those of you that can hear howls, you hear the howl of likely I'll just say the tail singer, announcing that everybody needs to be gathering for the arrival of their honored guests.
Just looks so painfully awkward right now. It's like, oh god, oh god.
Can I just point out that Pounce's howl was basically, they're here, and the human alpha doesn't look like an alpha.
Which Kieran just kind of like rubs his face and goes, "Oh, for fucking lupus, I swear."
So if any of you wish to descend upon this particular clusterfuck, feel free.
So, Callum's actually going to be walking up now with like handfuls of hammers and nails. Kind of downtrodden look on his face. He just kind of looks at Leon and just like, who are they? Why are they here?
Honored guests.
And he kind of looks, okay, so...
There was just a howl about it.
In that sad voice, he's just like, I get it, no stealing.
Were you going to steal from us?
No.
Oh.
But
Hand goes over face.
that's the typical answer that they normally tell me when I meet new people.
Have you had this compunction to steal from random strangers long?
I did it growing up.
I see. Siren extends his hand to shake yours.
Callum actually tentatively reaches out.
Ooh, before he does, Siren recoils with an absolute look of horror on his face as he sees the brand on your wrist. Like, nope. Yeah, so much so that he starts to back towards the lumber wall.
Callum
Hey,
will
barbed wire.
Callum will actually like pull his hand back fast too upon seeing that and like kind of in his pocket.
What happened to you, child?
I screwed up in a big.
That's not an answer to the question. That's an inflection of your own personal values, morals, and/or beliefs, which I'm not interested in. What did you do?
We were helping some kinfolk, and
Stop talking.
We came across some black goo and he got too close.
He did something stupid.
He touched the black goo, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
yes,
I will wait until you're.
Yes, so about that time, this man and this woman come walking up. Callum is very familiar with the woman.
yes.
Pounce is probably like, darting out in front of them because she went running towards them. So now she's running back.
No, she's like, "Oh, okay, they're coming," and turn around.
Yep. They're coming. And he doesn't look like an alpha. She does, though. She smells a bit like an alpha, too. Maybe she's the alpha.
So, oh my god. So yeah, this person and this person. This person, Pounce knows, it smells like a Fiona. Like, holy shit. And they both come walking up, and Kieran will address the group, and he'll look to Master Siren, and he'll say, "I'm sorry that I wasn't here to greet you at the door, so to speak."
Oh, not at all. We have been a rather pleasant discourse with your fellows. Yes.
He raises an eyebrow and looks over them. "Have you now?"
Quite. Siren extends his hand to the man, kind of like, he, for the record, it's going to be this wonderful, hilarious disparity of Siren with his strength 1 versus this individual. This is
Right?
this is the limpest of handshakes.
That's fucking funny.
Pounce is watching that. Is even more disappointed.
Like,
Solution
yeah,
to
he'll shake his hand and look at him a little curiously, and he'll say, "I am Karen Donovan, Alpha of the Sept of Forgotten Stories."
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. As you know, my name is Master Siren, and this, he gestures beside him, is Magister Alexandre de Noffrier. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And after he shakes his hand, he'll gesture to the woman standing beside him. This is my right hand. And she just kind of like gives him a look, but nods. I am Zara Murray, and I am indeed the beta of the Sept.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, I'm sure. Before we continue, this individual here, he denotes Callum, has come into contact with the main topic of our conversation this evening. I would like to, with your permission, use some of our gifts in order to determine how badly he may have been affected by his encounter.
She will nod and she'll say, "We would like to know more about what happened as well. Our Theurges, who are spiritualists, managed to remove the source, so to speak, but he has that scar."
Yes. Mr. Sorry, he looks at Callum and he says, what is your name, son?
It's just Callum.
All right. I'm going to take your hands in mine, if that's all right by you.
Mm. Yeah, Callum kind of like slowly reaches out again with his hand.
All right. You see Siren, he kind of lowers his head. He then blinks twice, but when he looks up again, his eyes have gone entirely white, and they appear to sparkle or pulsate with a kind of a resonant power. Looks you over. Hey, for the record, hey, Pants, that looked fucking alpha-like. That's all I'm choosing to say. But,
That's fucking funny. I love it.
Pounce would just sort of mutter under her breath, like, maybe he is alpha. I'm not sure, though. She looks more alpha still.
I'm very sorry, my boy, he says as he blinks. Allow me to, I'll explain it here, but I'll explain more in depth later. Unless he looks at the alpha and he says, this is perhaps somewhat more akin to a medical diagnosis. If he wishes it done privately, I will happily inform you two of it, but I do not feel as though this needs to be made public to everyone. It is something that he must share if he wishes to. If that is agreeable to you.
He will nod and he'll look to Callum because he's going to leave it up to him.
Callum actually being in the mindset he is right now, he's actually going to turn to the Sept Beta since he has had actual conversations with her and just going to be like, Beta, what do you think?
Kieran will kind of smirk and look to her because he's heard the stories, he knows. And she'll say, It is up to you on who you would like to know about what's going on, but if you want it done in private, that is up to you. I am not going to demand that it's done publicly. I do believe that the Den Mother should be informed.
And Callum would kind of slowly shake his head. I think I would prefer it in private then.
Very well then. The siren takes him by the hand. He's very gentle, and he walks him over. He'll take the alpha and the beta with him because this is information they need to know.
Yep.
So what he will say to you is that the entity in question, that once again I will go into greater detail when we speak in more depth. The insects, the black ichor that you encountered in the physical world was sent in order to drain people of their energies, both physical and spiritual, essentially. In the process by which you were connected to it, you were essentially connected to, if you were to phrase it as a pipeline, perhaps, to drain life energies and spiritual energies. What we would call the soul, the spirit, it has many names. Approximately 1/4 of yours is gone, and I do not believe it will return. It has been consumed.
Callum would just kind of like look at him, kind of shocked. Do you know the possible lasting effects, if any?
I do not. Ultimately, we have not really encountered this before, save in some of the very dark and blasphemous acts that my kind have committed throughout the centuries.
Callum just kind of slowly shakes his head. Okay.
For the record, D'Onofrio's eyes snap to the left-hand side as she looks directly at the wolf, like just looks at Pounce, and she says, "Is it customary to eavesdrop on private conversations?"
She hasn't activated it yet.
When you do, correspondence.
I mean, it's fine. She will look up. It says, he is Pack.
Callum will also kind of look and said, "It's okay. I like Pounce."
Ultimately, I'm sorry, my boy, and if there is anything that can be done, we will do it, but it is an unknown quantity moving forward. You still possess most of what integrally makes you you. Maybe it will return in time.
Okay.
Both Zara and Karen look troubled by this information, and Zara will actually put a hand on Callum's shoulder, and this is the first time he's ever actually felt her very maternal energy, like that she gives to her kids and stuff like that. But her whole demeanor has changed, and she's just being comforting for him now.
Actually, never feeling that kind of comfort, Callum starts kind of slowly, almost like leaning into her for that support.
I'm very sorry, as I said. However, our time here is limited, so in that case, Honored Alpha, if you would kindly show us to where we will have the discussion, I will begin.
They nod, and Zars doesn't leave Callum's side right now, but Karen will lead Siren to where all of the other Garu have now gathered, just for sake of time and expediency. We will say that everybody is now gathered, or basically in the center of the bond, where moots and everything are normally held. A little bit farther away from the Karen Heart than they would be otherwise, just for precaution's sake.
We do somewhat eat cairns. It's a kind of it's a hobby, you know.
Yes,
fine.
and there is and there will be some members of the Sept absent from this gathering, as they are protecting the Karen Heart. One of them is the Sept warder. So, but yeah, so yeah, for expediency's sake, we'll just say that everybody's gathered around. Karen will introduce Master Siren to the collective, to which everybody will shut the fuck up and listen.
For the record, Siren's very dutiful. He physically I'm assuming that obviously they're the PCs, but they're probably other NPC guard. He physically goes, and I'll actually do this to each one of you in turn. And he introduces himself, and he will shake hands, and he's trying to be very, very, very congenial. So those of you who hasn't met yet, we'll
Cool.
start.
Everybody's in a large circle anyway, so that works very well.
We will start with from my left to right. So Petra, you are the first up. He will walk and he will approach you. For the record, once again, if he's a very, very, and I oftentimes really should point this out, Siren. He's a very thin, very, very frail person, but he's very pretty. And also, interestingly enough, for any of you who are interested, and I should have pointed this out when Pounce sniffed him, because myself and Lindsay had an interesting debate about this. He smells very strongly of Gaian spirit, like almost like he is one by proxy.
Huh.
Yeah.
But he walks to Petra and he extends his hand.
Petra, who is just kind of sitting back and just kind of taking it all in while peeling an apple, she'll look left and right and then kind of point at herself.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, miss. What is your name?
Kestrel. She'll offer out a hand.
A pleasure. Once again, he has the weakest handshake, like strength 1 level of weak handshake. But he makes the effort. For the record, if any of you really want to be a dick, you could totally crush his hand if you've got like strength 3.
I don't think she's got that, and I don't think she's very inclined to do that. No, she just kind of like if he does like the limp noodle handshake, she kind of like pulls her hand away, like, ugh.
My apologies.
Just a little unsettling, that's all.
A slight physiological issue, but nonetheless, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. He then pushes on. He will, there's a new person. He will meet the is it Estalia? Am I pronouncing Estalia? 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 Estalia?
Estella.
Estella.
She will shake his hand and she'll say, Estella, it's nice to meet you. And she has a slightly firm grip, but she's like seeing the other handshake and she's like, he's very frail. Let's not hurt him.
Okay.
But she has a strong handshake by nature.
You're not hurting if Siren is always, Siren always treats as, hey, I'm not hurt. This is pretty great.
Okay, cool.
But I think that's everyone in Hamid, definitely, because he won't associate D'Onofrio does, but he won't associate a wolf being a person until he's pointed out that no, that's a person, Siren. Oh. In that case, he's...
That's funny. Yeah, because they'll see other wolves too. There's a few other NPCs. There's like 2 other NPCs that are lupus. So.
Very well then. He settles himself at the position he's given to sit in, and he says, the only powers I will call on here are powers that are necessary in order to articulate my point, as I must get it across. So, with that in mind, I am going to give some information that would normally be outside of your lexicon. These are simple truths, and I would not wish any hostility based on the truths that I will state. So, with that in mind, he moves his hand, and for the record, it's starting to get dark out. He moves his hand. Lindsay, for thematic purposes, can there have been a bonfire set up in the central point?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. He moves his hand.
Totally.
From the flames, you will see 3 symbols emerge that kind of crackle in the firelight, that basically hover above you. These are the symbols for the Wild, the Weaver, and the Worm. And he will say, the 3 great entities that make up the 3 great entities of the Triad, whom birth, change, and kill, in essence. These are a simple, fundamental fact. Gaia is, from our perspective, the spirit that is the personification of this world and all living things that are vested within it. He flicks his hand around, and basically the three symbols swirl into a cacophony of firelight until you basically see the world as it is. You basically see like a flaming version of Earth hung above the bonfire. And he says, however, these are the fundamental forces of this world, this creation, created by the hands of the spirits and given to us. Each has its point and each has its duty, even though some of the spirits have long since ago either forgotten their duty or become obsessed by it. However, this is not the teetotality. Before there was this, and he moves his hand, and all the light around you physically dies. Like, it doesn't matter what source it comes from, just the light is snuffed out. Before all of this, there was darkness. Darkness was eternal. It ruled when there was no time, from here to now, and now to then. And then into the darkness came creation. And once again, he flicks his wrist, and there's an explosion of light from the bonfire that dazzles you all for just a few moments before he says, however, darkness can never truly be destroyed. Darkness can never truly be banished. Rather, what the darkness did is on the periphery of things, it lurked, just outside of everything, on the border, forever denied access to creation. Unless, via the hand of man, it was allowed to seep into creation. Well, when I say the hand of man, the hand of thinking sapience, the hand of any individual whom possessed free will and chose to open a doorway. Essentially, what we have is one such individual whom has come dangerously close to opening a door to that which is outside, that which seeks to enter into our world, into our space, and corrupt it so that once again there can be but the darkness. This ritual is currently taking place in the middle of Phoenix Park, not 15 miles from where we are sitting, as the individual in question, a demented entity who goes by the name of Aishar, attempts to rend and bring ruin to all things. The firelight crackles down to its normal hue, and he says, the reason that, how would I phrase this? I am led to understand that, from what I have been told, you are resistant to these creatures that Aishar has sent forth. I will answer as to why this is. You are uniquely tied to this world, to this physical place. It gives you strength, it nourishes you. You are part of it, and it is part of you. Essentially, your own physiology proves anathema to these creatures. These creatures whom, as a product of this ritual, which requires great power in order to come to fruition, are being sent out, or were being sent out, to harvest the life force of humanity, along with the very soul, the spirit that is within all of them, to be sent into a great grinder, for lack of a better word, to be used for their physical or fiscal power. We are here because we obviously do not wish to allow this ritual to come to conclusion. We do not wish the outsiders, as we have coined them, to be allowed in, because if they were to be, they would spread like a cancer throughout creation until creation itself was uncreated. That is all that they seek to do.
Are they like some Lovecraftian things then?
Yes, that is a fair assumption. The things that are without, the things that are unimaginable, the horror given form, the form given horror. And that is why we are here. Your people prove remarkably resilient to their physical presence, whereas many people, we have our magical defenses that protect us. Other entities are immune based upon various different quirks or traits. You are the only group who are innately physically resistant to their presence. And that is because of the unique bond that you share between yourselves and the world itself. We call this world the Tellurian, the world scope as it is. You are uniquely linked to this world in all of its physicalities, both on this world, both in this plane and in the spiritual one. The two blend together and bleed into one another, and thus you are, if you understand me.
So we bite it.
No,
He says.
that is a terrible idea. That would be putting the poison into yourself. And
Then
that's
how do we stop it?
Hmm?
Then how do we stop it?
Hmm. He sits there for a few moments. He kind of contemplates. We intend to undo this ritual before it is. Essentially, in order for the ritual to be completed, 7 doors must be opened over 7 nights. 7 portal ways open so that they may all connect together, so that the pathway may be. Actually, yeah, no. To correct myself, he won't have commented when Pound spoke. 'Cause he can't speak Wolf, so he'll just.
I mean,
he'll,
if you
like,
want to make it easier and we just continue like this, Pounce would have shifted in Hamid by now.
that's fine. There we go.
That's
Life,
easier. There.
life.
Okay.
But he will say, yes. Ultimately, we intend to stop him before he can open the 7th door, completing his 7th. Before he can open the 7th door of his ritual. Thus, we intend to deny him what he truly desires. We
Is
intend.
there,
Please continue.
is there a way to shut any of the doors?
The doors all must be opened for the ritual to take place. If one of them does not open at the appointed time, all the rest will slam closed.
Well, what happens if if we could manage to shut one that he's already opened?
That's what I was wondering.
Ultimately, all 7 of the doors are in the same physical location. They do have a physical point, a locus, if you will, a central point. They are all physically in proximity to one another. So it would not necessarily make much of a difference. It would more than likely stop the ritual, but in the same way, preventing one of the doors from opening or killing the individual who is performing the ritual will also prevent it from coming to fruition, for someone must open the door.
I want to kill him.
I mean, I appreciate that you're asking for help, but you do understand we have our own wars to fight.
Simon contemplates that for a moment. He says, yes. The simple fact of the matter is that this is not just a conflict that concerns us. This is not a conflict that concerns the you or the I. This is a conflict that will inevitably mean that there will be a tomorrow.
You know, our war is not so different than that, but nobody's ever lifted a hand to help us.
But he attacked one of us. And he talked to him. And when I was sitting on top of him, to me as well. I do not like him. He looks like worm, but he doesn't smell like it.
That's not gonna stop our enemies from attacking us or for any of them to take advantage of the situation.
Do we have any intel on what spirals are getting up to with all of this? Are they assisting, or do they work at cross purposes to this?
Well, because Evan and I have not discussed that out of character, we can figure that out later.
I was
Glad I can be useful here.
hashtag not my wheelhouse. But
I actually hadn't considered that out of character, so Zara will shake her head, and she'll say, "As far as we know, they're not doing anything with or against."
That doesn't explain. Yes, the spirals are an issue, but that doesn't.
So Kieran will speak up, and he'll say, "The fact of the matter is that this does affect us. It affects our kin, so therefore it affects us. So it is our fight. And that's why he's here, to explain what's going on, so we can help resolve the situation better, so that we can get on with our lives."
We won't
Yeah.
have any wars to fight if we're not alive.
Going to stop
Exactly.
them from any other set from seeing this as a weakness and taking it for themselves.
This is affecting the entire world, lad.
Callum just kind of looks and says, "A Kabai maybe, but I will fight."
We do not ask. We all have our wars to fight and our enemies to slay. The fact of the matter is that this takes ideology, mythology, belief are all luxuries because they are things that are the nature of existence. If we have existence, we have the luxury to have these things. If we do not have such luxury.
Seems like a situation where we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. And up until now, no one's been really willing to lend a hand or extend an olive branch to help us with any of our endeavors. And all of ours are relatively world spanning. If
I
one
mean,
gets what it wants,
to be fair, we don't really ask.
Would you not kill a bear if it's in front of you because you fear that something else might attack you in the back after you finish the bear? That is stupid because the bear will kill you first. Even though a bear is Gaian, he will still kill you.
A wolf is a wolf is a wolf. We stick together, we fight together.
Yes, and we fight
And
what we should fight.
And
And
our
by
enemies
fighting
are what they
together,
are.
by fighting together, we can watch each other's backs, anyways.
Alpha, and she'll point over at Anthony's character, who I don't think I've met yet.
Mm-mm.
He brings up a good point. What about the others? Are those to the east of us? The other tribes?
He shakes his head. What about them? They're not going to come in here.
If you were able to secure some of their support, would you want it?
He furrows his brow. No. Every time we've attempted to ally ourselves with those tribes over there, it's ended badly for us. So I'm not going to attempt even once to let them in my home again.
What if not an entire tribe, but those that are more even keeled?
If they're not here, no. And I'm not allowing Get of Fenris here. I'm not allowing no. Silver Fangs, no.
This is about more than just us.
The Alpha has spoken. Move on.
We are not asking you to throw away lives needlessly. We are not asking you to put yourself in more danger than we will place ourselves in. We merely hope that you will see the wisdom in that you all have a value when it comes to tomorrow.
I already sent Rain. I will not mind fighting. I am only cub.
What other allies do you have?
We have many. We have gone to many places, and we have spoken with many tongues, to many entities old and feared, to many that are young and new. Many will join the clarion call.
So is there gonna be some big epic battle with the forces of evil?
Not evil, the forces of nothingness.
But there's still gonna be a big epic battle in the end.
Correct.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
Fuck.
Estella kind of looks over at this person and she's just like, okay, I see where you're at. She's just like,
kidding?
okay.
We were literally born for this. This is our job.
There was a nod of
Patsy,
agreement.
Well, while I don't like doing it at the behest of anyone outside our own people. So
I mean, I've
nothing-
already fucking told you that we're fighting in this.
I
What
hadn't
more
quite
do you
gotten
need?
out.
I said we're doing this. He is here for more information. This was not negotiable.
Wow.
By the way, guys,
Well, Alpha, I was gonna try and throw in my lot with Leon and kind of give a big fuck yeah moment, but I'll sit down because it's now. It's
Apparently, we don't have a say in the matter.
I mean, no. It's
I fear that just us, it won't be enough. There's others, I don't know the situation with them. However, if there's others, if they know the risk, differences can be set aside for the time being.
even if it's just us, I learned as a cub that we are Garou when we fight. Whether we live or die does not matter. We are Garou, so we fight.
If Gaia is in trouble, isn't it our job to fight?
Yes.
it is at this moment. Lindsay, which side of the Umber are we on?
the Tellurian.
Okay. It is at this moment that you guys look up, and from where there was yeah,
God.
from where there was nothing above you, it starts to rain on you guys. There was no clouds, but yet it is raining from what seems to be a blank sky above you. There's no clouds, but the rain just starts to fall on you.
Growl.
Gaia is weeping.
All of you feel innately uncomfortable.
Growling
I
and
don't think
crucifying.
that's Gaia.
Is this considered a stressful situation right now?
It's about to be.
Oh, fuck.
Does anyone want to peek across?
Yes,
Okay.
I will roll.
Anyone who wants to
You're
peek
asking
across?
You're asking if the urge not to look across. That's
Well,
fine.
I'm seeing if anyone else wants to do it. Do it.
What's the difficulty here to look, Lindsay? We're on Sept, so I presume it's like
It's
low?
4. Yeah, it's 4.
Okay, I have 3 successes.
Anyone
Callan
else?
will go ahead and look across too. What would be the roll?
It's
Gnosis.
yeah, 2 noses.
Yeah, it's your Gnosis difficulty 4.
It's what now?
Gnosis difficulty 4.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a success.
I believe that's enough. All right, guys. You are being showered in blood and raven feathers.
No! Fucking way! I'm gonna take. How many raids can I take? Can I 5?
No, just 1.
I know. Arrgh!
Callan
You
kind of like
Bounce will actually howl as she jumps up.
Like, even if she's in homage, she's howling with rage at that point.
Callum will actually see Pounce do that and like put a hand on her, like not to actually hold her, but more support.
That might not be a good idea, kid.
I know.
I mean, her first instinct reaction would be to snap at his fingers. She has her hobbit teeth, so really, she snaps.
Well, he's already like basically still scratching her ear and stuff, anyways.
But yes, you are being throughout the Umbra. Because when you peek over, can you hear? I think you can.
Oof.
Lindsay, can you hear across the gauntlet when you peek?
It's usually up to interpretation.
Yeah.
If Pounce wants to make a perception alertness roll,
There you go.
see if she can
Sure.
try to hear what's going on if she wants to.
I'm not sure if she wants to, but she'll have to. I mean, I think she's actually going to step across, to be honest. But you know, I will roll first.
Well,
Perception alertness, okay.
shit. That's
Killing my
disturbing.
friends.
Hang on.
Killing my fucking friends.
Hang on. Let other people talk to you. Sorry.
Sorry.
You were saying that.
That's disturbing. She's like what's falling on us in the Telerian. Is it water or is it?
It appears to just be rain.
Yep. It's a rain of sorts. It's not like it's the spiritual reflection of rain, so it looks kind of translucent and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! Pounce ate all of the successes. Okay.
Oh yes.
Pounce,
Well,
this is gonna get bad real quick.
Oh shit!
Oh no.
You hear the agonized call of a great raven that is in agony.
What's this up?
Yeah. Pounce. Lindsay, which derangements do you want me to roll? I'm gonna ask that first before I'm gonna do stuff.
It's always the hallucinations
Yeah,
first.
okay.
The insane ancestor doesn't really get triggered unless Pounce is directly challenged.
Check.
Okay. Would what
Count
C affect any of his derangements?
He doesn't have a particular affinity to the spirit, so no.
He also didn't send them to their fucking death.
Right.
No, I was just wondering because you said in the
But seeing Pounce distressed would definitely make him anxious, but it's not derangement roll worthy yet.
Okay. Well, I didn't know because of the blood over on the Umbra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. He did see that, didn't he? Yeah, I need you to roll your willpower, difficulty 7.
In all honesty, I don't know if this would have an effect on Estella, really.
Petch is going to look at her apple now that it's covered in what may or may not be water. She's just like,
I don't know about this anymore.
Callum got -1 successes, so.
Let me look at that.
It's a failure, not a botch.
Okay. So you are at a -1. No, you are at a +1 difficulty for all actions for the next 10 minutes, and I need you to roll stamina to not vomit. But you are definitely put off and feeling queasy and dizzy.
Any special difficulty level or anything?
Nah, standard.
Three successes.
Okay, you're good. So you're able to steel yourself, but you are definitely affected like that. Especially seeing it so soon after what just happened to you. That's a lot to deal with. I would say that that's enough for him to break his. It's still enough for him to break his concentration looking across. So you are no longer looking across the Umbra.
Right.
Lindsay,
Yep.
I'm gonna cross over.
Okay.
Careful.
That's 3 successes.
You pop over.
hmm
Oh god, it's in your fur. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's fine. She's in Homid still, but you know, yeah.
Well, she's still even though you're in Umbra in Hamid, because you have such high
Mhm.
spirit heritage, you still look like basically a two-legged raven in the Umbra. So it's in your feathers.
Yeah, once in the Umbra, especially with the others not being able to hear her anymore, she will probably turn into Hispo. She'll spend a rage for that, and she'll start howling, and she basically is challenging whoever is doing it to come out and fight. Which is really stupid. Oh god. She's really mad. Like, really mad.
You are left with the deafening sound of silence as you howl into bloody rain.
That's bounce.
Petra will turn back to Lita and just kind of ask her quietly, is this going to have any effect on the cairn, this rain on the other side?
You need to be cleansed about it. It's not like a big deal.
Lita shrugs. She's not a theurge. I don't know. She has no idea.
Full moon. I forgot.
Yep. Nope, it's fine. Yeah, Lita's not a theurge. She's an Arun. She doesn't know anything. She's like, I don't know. Maybe. But that's up to the theurges to figure out.
Alpha, is there anything we should be doing about this, or?
So, seeing Pounce crossover, I'm sure that some of my NPCs did look across for themselves, just because that was, yeah. So, there will be an NPC theurge that goes over to check on Pounce and to check on the situation, and he'll say, it's going to be handled by the theurges. I don't sense that there's anything too damaging about it. I think that it just needs to be cleansed out by a theurge.
Well, I mean, do you want to send this across with like tarps or anything?
It doesn't work like that. No.
Master Siren looks up and he kind of raises an eyebrow. At which point you see him, he raises his hand. And Pounce, you'll see this. Basically, above you, there's like a rift, like a split in the Umbra that may, like, it would be the equivalent of 300 or 400 feet above you. So it's actually about, so yeah, it's about the equivalent of about 300 or 400 feet above you. So what Siren does is he opens his hand and closes it, but he appears to be closing it with an incredible amount of effort. So from what Pounce will see, the rift above you is forced closed, at which point the rain for all of your perspectives will stop.
Okay. Pounce is literally like, yeah. She sees that. She's gonna. But then, you know, when it stops, she's just gonna rub her face in like whatever feathers are on the ground. She doesn't care that she gets bloody, and she just keeps howling and challenging and howling and challenging.
So there's another NPC that is extremely affected by this display, and he is, as soon as I can figure out how to, 1 second, he is going to put an arm around, like a hand on her shoulder. Is she Lupus or still in Hamid?
She's in his phone.
Oh, she's in Hispo. So
Oh,
he's
yes,
he's in Hamid.
right.
She sees basically another raven centered person enter, and he's gonna come over and just like stand in front of her and look up and put his hands like on her chest. He has tears in his eyes. He's very affected by this too. And he was just gonna say very softly, "There's not anything we can do right now. Please calm down." And she will feel that his energy is similar to that of the dead mother.
Yeah, the problem is, I mean, she's not frenzying, although, boy.
No, she's just
close.
very upset. I can make a charisma
Yeah.
roll if you'd like.
No, it's fine. She'll calm down somewhat, so the challenging will stop, the howling will not.
That's fine. He's actually gonna stay with her as long as he'll shift to Lupus and he'll just stay there with her as long as she wants mourning with her over the death of the ravens.
From where he's sitting, Siren raises himself slowly. And he says, he intended that to be a message. Because your friend, I do beg your pardon, I didn't get her name.
If you're talking about the one who is saddened, her name is Pounce.
She broke a great amount of the energy that he was attempting to steal for his ritual. She may have given us the opportunity that we need. Unfortunately, vengeance comes easy to those who have a petty heart.
So he went after her spirits.
He nods.
Which is part of her.
He nods again. We will not, once again, force you into anything. You have spoken Honored Alpha, as is your right, but ultimately, we will hope to see many of you take the field with us. The fact of the matter is that far too many tears have been shed on the account of this monster. It is time that the nightmare end.
Oh, we're fucking fighting this.
What was that, Paul?
Leon's like, oh, we're fucking fighting this.
Zara smiles over to Leon, and Karen says, I got a little passionate earlier. What I meant was that we as a sept are in this fight, but I'm not going to force anyone who does not want to fight, though I hope that you do.
He made Pounce sad. I will kill him.
Those are very large words, my friend, but I hope that they come true.
I see no reason for myself to not fight, so fight I will.
Good. Well, as I've said, myself and Magister D'Onofrio have done what it is we came here to do. Unless, does anyone have any questions for us before we depart?
I'm assuming... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please go.
I'm assuming growing very large with large claws is what you have in mind?
Yes. We will be able to give you some protections for your hands, but please, once again, do not bite these creatures. Voluntarily taking in their taint is a terrible idea.
Gotcha.
I think those are good words for Pounce to hear as she slowly crosses back to the Tellurian and will shift back into Hamed. And she'll just walk up to Master Siren and she says, I will kill him.
I wish you luck in that endeavor.
Just give us a when and a where.
He looks up. For the record, we're doing this all hand wavy in terms of time. Because for the record, for those of you who don't know, basically the entirety of this quote unquote, so there's going to be a 4-part scene, basically a 4-part series of the scenes to fight Lord Eyeshower and all that good stuff. Canonically speaking, they all take place on the same night, on the 22nd, which is today. However, obviously they're not all going to take place on the same night, because that would kill me. Stone dead. There would be no Evan left. So they're going to be split up over basically the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're going to get them done. So he will say, in 2 days' time, on the 22nd, we will gather. We are already making our preparations. Come then, and we will promise you the fight that you are looking for.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Any more prep on our end, Alpha? That needs doing, or are we ready to go? Lindsay?
This may be a bit of an ignorant question, but for the Theurges, is that would we be fighting in the Umbra instead of in the physical?
I'll let Lindsay answer the question she was asked. Then I will answer the question just so we don't get messed up in terms of our answers.
I need the question repeated. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
No, from not from you, from Vinny.
There you
go. Petra asked if there was any more prep that needed to be doing, or are they ready to deploy at this point?
Zara will actually answer that question, and she will say, I think the only last minute preparations that need to be made are talons that are being made as we speak. For the most part, though, we're as ready as we're going to get.
So at this point, she'll stand up and sort of crack her neck. It's up to the rest of us to live it up with what time we may or may not have left.
All right, and to answer Estelle's question, he will say, we will be fighting this battle in the real world. The Tellurian, as we call it, though you will not be seen. We have made it clear that is so.
Estella will nod at that and just look on, pretty much.
Callum would actually look at Master Siren and ask, what about humans who can't fight? What will be done with them?
We would rather not bring ordinary people to this battlefield. That would mean their deaths. Leave them here where they are safe.
I mean the ones that are in town. How are they being protected?
We are seeing to that as best we can. I could give you the actual methodology, but I do not mean to sound as if I'm being condescending. You would not understand it, and I would waste a lot of time explaining it.
Petra kind of looks around, and then she'll present herself to the Alpha.
He'll look to her,
and she'll expose her throat just because she's entered his space.
Yeah, he'll just kind of gesture for an acknowledgement and motion for her to right herself.
Alpha, with all of this on the horizon, it begs the question to be asked, as we are graciously hosted by Fiona Sepp, would the night not be totally wasted by, well, a Fiona-style pre-battle shindig?
It's actually funny that you bring that up because we had already planned on it. We had a solstice celebration earlier today, and we were planning to have a sort of celebration for the solstice for our honored guests, and in preparation of hopefully kicking the fuck out of this Aishar. His smile.
You see Siren kneel down on the ground, and he appears to concentrate a great deal for a few moments. So much so that, for those of you who are looking, he gets this. Siren is not exactly tanned, I would say, but he gets decidedly paler. But he stands up after a few long moments, very, very shakily, to the point that D'Onofrio has to physically support his weight. But he holds out his hands to Pounce.
She looks at him, looks at the hands.
The hands are closed, so he's got one hand covering the other until he opens it, and you will see a tiny manifested baby raven spirit.
Like Dream Raven or normal Raven?
Dream Raven.
Aww.
He brought one back, and it nearly killed him.
Aww.
Pounce will very carefully take like the hatchling. Is that the right word? Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
Good. And then she'll she'll actually expose her neck as you would do to an elder.
He looks vaguely confused, like, oh dear.
Kieran will go ahead and say she's showing respect to you.
Oh. No. He puts a hand on her shoulder once again. He's not sure of your social convention, so if you want to snap at him, go for it.
No, she will not.
He will say, once again, bear in mind, D'Onofrio is currently holding most of his body weight, which is not much. And he will say, ultimately, this battle is not just one with weapons, or words, or ideologies. This battle is one with hope.
Then I will hope that I will be able to snap his neck.
That is amazing. I love it.
But does anyone else have any other questions they'd like to ask before the mages depart? Nope.
Well, if they go to leave, Leon will be like, where do you think you're going? You're not going to join the celebration?
Oh. I suppose this is your custom. We would be honored.
We hunted food for you.
You just really want to get the really embarrassed fucking Siren. You have to like sit there with meat.
I mean, amongst the food, it's not just meat. There will be salad that they've hunted.
So, yes, they hunted salad.
It took us 35 men. We lost half of them, but we got that carrot back.
Yes, there's all manner of food and drink for the celebration.
But yes,
Petra's
so
gonna
the
pull out her
mages
notebook.
Hmm?
Petra's gonna pull out her notebook and then look at D'Onofrio and Siren, and then kind of like speak to no one in particular. Like, if they're staying for the orgy, I don't know exactly where I'm gonna slot them in at, but
they're good. They're good to stay in the
Lita smacks her on the shoulder.
if he had
actually-
more color to drain from his face.
Karen's just cracking up now, like, oh fuck, that was good.
So Callum will actually look at Petra and kind of a rare smile crosses his face and says, "Am I in on this?"
Playoff or above, kid. Playoff or above.
No, unfortunately, you have to be this tall, and she holds it just over his head to ride this.
I mean, Pounce will shift into Glabro and reach that height.
There
I know
are
this.
so many people lining up to break the litany right now, and she's just writing this down.
The usually very quiet Estella is cackling at the moment that the hand is just too tall for Callum to reach.
Oh.
Just cackles.
Callum kind of like tries to start spiking his hair up slightly, just a little bit.
All you can hear, as I will end this scene, kids, is D'Onofrio looking at Siren and querying, so at what point does it become furry porn? At that point, we will end that scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.